So let's look at this part. This is a Microsoft head office, and today we are going to talk about Azure Analytics services. These are very important from a certification standpoint because these are absolute certification essentials. Please subscribe to my channel and click thumbs up if you like my videos. So please focus on the analytics concept explained in this part. So all of this information is going to help you with clearing the certifications of Azure. So when we think about analytics services, what do we think of? It just means that anything that allows me to get the data to show these in the dashboards. And what services will help me? These are the services. Okay, in a nutshell, we will cover these topics. So what does the analytics service do? It helps you gather, store, process, analyze, and visualize the data with a variety of format and with different set of volumes and velocity. So basically, we are talking about this entire process where you have data sources here. You get the data into landing, into staging, and into the data warehouse. Let's look at Synapse Analytics, a very important service. It is a limitless analytics service with unmatched time to insight. What it means is, primarily in this diagram, this one where you store the warehouse data is Synapse. What do you do with Synapse data? You will plug a reporting application here, like a Tableau or a Power BI, or you can plug an AI ML routines here. So when we talk about Synapse, what are the things we should remember? First, it is elastic service. So when we are talking about scalability, this is what is scalability. So that guy is talking about 25 million concurrency for Hotstar application because the system is elastic. So concurrency is possible. That is, this database is able to scale horizontally. Normally in traditional times, if you are talking about Oracle database, it was vertical scalable. That means it grows up like a tower block. But horizontal scalable is different. It grows horizontally. That's why the scalability is better here. Then this database is highly available. That means even if the database in one region goes down, the other region will be up. Or if in one availability zone it is down, the other AZ will be up. Synapse has master-slave architecture. Always remember this. This will come in the certification exam. The master-slave relationship, that means the master nodes are processing data and sending the job request to the child nodes. The child nodes processes it and sends the data back to the master. This type of architecture is not there in traditional RDBMS systems, and that's why this architecture helps Synapse run very fast and provide better performance. And hence it can handle massive data volumes. The reason it is able to handle massive data volumes because of horizontal scale up. You can just keep adding on clusters and you will get the performance for highest amount of data. And whenever we talk about reporting and ML, always remember Synapse is used for that, because in the exam you will get such questions and you should understand that we are talking about Synapse and not about normal SQL Server. Let's see this service, Databricks. Databricks is all about handling big data, monster sized data. So handling big data is a fully managed, fast, easy and collaborative Apache Spark based analytics platform. So this is a traditional system, but if you are having volumes and volumes of data, big data, then all this landing, staging and etc. is in Databricks. Okay, that is a cluster. You just keep spawning the clusters and the data is kept in those clusters to manage monster size data. So when we talk about Databricks, these are the keywords you should remember: big data processing, horizontal scale up, highly available. See, anything on cloud is highly available because that's what cloud is meant to be. On-prem making highly available, it requires lots and lots of investment, capex investment. Cloud is all about opex investment. Like we are talking about monster size data volumes in the exam, if you get similar questions where you have processing to be done, but you should remember, if it's a monster size data, you should go for Databricks rather than Synapse. And if you have a ML program being plugged to analyze through these big data volumes, then it is also useful for that. And we use Spark and Apache with Databricks. You can use Spark SQL to fire queries of this dataset. The next service let's talk about is Azure Data Factory. See, Data Factory is a cloud-based solution to integrate and perform data integration across different systems. See, it is also used to migrate the data from on-premises, this is your on-premises, to the cloud environments. And again, this is pay-per-view, so you only pay for what you use. See, it has so many connectors. It is a ETL tool, but it has so many connectors to connect various systems and transport your data. So that's why it is basically a data integration service. In the exam, whenever you get questions where multiple systems are there and you need to integrate the data with your Azure, say Synapse or SQL Server, then you should use Data Factory. In a typical architecture, this is how data factory is used for moving the data to landing, staging, and not in Databricks, maybe in Synapse Analytics, we use data factory. Machine learning, there is something called Azure machine learning. It's used for open and elastic AI development spanning the cloud and the edge. So unless and until you are specifically a data scientist, you will not be too much worried about this service. But this service is good to know that it is used as an elastic AI development service. Another important service is Azure Stream Analytics. So when we are talking about gas pipelines, so imagine there are gas pipelines, offshore gas pipelines, and there are remote operators vehicles here, and there are IoT devices put on these machines. Now, each of these IoT devices is sending data. You need to monitor this data very carefully because you are, you can plan the maintenance of your devices accordingly. So for that purpose, we use Azure Stream Analytics. IoT devices are fitted and it constantly keeps sending the data, and that data is getting collected in real time. So when you think about this service, these are something which you should remember. It is a serverless service. There is no server to be provisioned. You just use this service. You don't worry about managing the servers. It is used for real-time analytics. It has built-in machine learning algorithms. It is an event processing agent. If an event happens, for example, you have put a threshold that certain KPI of this sensor, if it goes below the threshold, you raise an alert and analyze high volumes of streaming data. Since it has built-in machine learning, so you can analyze high volumes of streaming data. You don't have to move the data to a warehouse or do some analysis on Databricks. You don't have to do it. You can do it real time on the stream itself. And the best part is Azure provides you SLA commitment. This is the best part. That means it is all guaranteed. The performance, the availability of the service is guaranteed. See, I gave you one example where IoT is used, and that is where streams can be put into play. But even in social media or certain applications, weblogs you want to track, you can use Azure Stream Analytics. The Azure Stream Analytics is very useful in such scenarios. Now let's talk about another service called Data Lake Analytics. See, it is basically what we are talking about is a fully managed on-demand pay-per-job analytics service with enterprise-grade security auditing and support. See, this is your data lake. You are going to store all the data here. Okay, so you need to provide security. This is the key. You need to do it. You should have auditing features. Okay. So these are some of the keywords you should remember during the exam. It will be very useful for you. First is this service supports dynamic scaling. Then you can develop all the code faster. You can use SQL to access the data. It is very cost-effective storage service, and it has in-region data residency. That means it's very good for GDPR. If the data is in Europe, it will be available in Europe only. It will not be available in other regions. Okay. Now this brings us to the end of this part. See you in the next part. We will be looking at some more interesting topics in the next part. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you like this video.